Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are continuing our Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu journey, and we'll start as usual with the Gopala Champu session story. So, so Krishna went to Mathura, and then he stayed there for 33 years in Mathura and Dwaraka, and then he came back from Dwaraka after killing Dantavakra. So when he came back to Vrindavan, he was welcomed very much by the Vrajavasis and they had a party. And after that, Krishna's daily routines started. And Krishna stayed back there in Vrindavan eternally. And we saw that how Krishna woke up in the morning and then he had a oil massage and a bath. And then he met Yogamaya, that is Purnamasi. And then he met all the women of the home, Yashoda and other elders, and he took respects from them. I mean, he took offered his respects toward them. Then he was bathed by all of them. They had a bathing ceremony because it was the Janma Nakshatra of Krishna. So every month this Janma Nakshatra of Krishna occurs. So on that day they have a special party. So after the Abhishek ceremony was over, then a boy came and then he said that Nanda Maharaj is calling you. Nanda Maharaj and all the other men are sitting in a separate room in the house of Krishna. House of Krishna is quite huge. So in one place, all the women were sitting and then he met them. And after that, now he was called to meet all the men who were sitting in the assembly of Nanda Maharaj. Now Krishna is leaving the room where the women were gathered to the room where the men are gathered. So he was feeling his heart was swinging back and forth because he couldn't take it that leaving Yashoda, but then he was also looking forward to Nanda, meeting Nanda. So after that, when Krishna, so Krishna took the permission of Yashoda and then he went to Nanda Maharaj assembly. Though it was very painful for him to do, he still moved forward. And before that, he also sent off Purnamasi to her house. So every day Purnamasi comes to meet Krishna in the morning, and after that she goes back. Then Krishna, along with Balaram, Sridham, and other friends, he started going toward Nanda Maharaj assembly. Then he appeared in Nanda Maharaj assembly very fast. So as soon as he appeared in Nanda Maharaj assembly, all the men, elderly men who were sitting there, they all just rose up very fast because they were eagerly looking forward for Krishna's arrival there. And then there was a lot of clamor was created by the Vandis. The Vandis are the bards who are actually uh, praise the family or the king, whatever. They started praising, reciting all the praises. Then all these assembly members, they rose up to meet Krishna, and their eagerness for meeting Krishna was so much like the Chataka birds. So there is a certain type of bird called Chataka. It drinks water directly from the rain. It doesn't drink from the river or anywhere. So the Chataka bird looks forward for the rains to fall. That is how it sustains its lives. So similar to the Chataka birds looking forward for the rain, all these members in the assembly, they were looking forward for Krishna. So he also says, as if a lifeless body has obtained the life years back. They have obtained Krishna. And their mind was consumed by longing for Krishna. Though their mind were consumed by longing for Krishna, we would expect that all of them would run and then embrace Krishna, but they were all standing in their respective places. They couldn't move because they were all stunned, paralyzed because of the emotion that they were going through inside. These emotions, this love for Krishna, it creates varieties of emotion in the heart of the person, and then that externally manifests as different activities like paralysis, hair standing on the end, like that. So in this case, they were all paralyzed. So Jiva Goswami says, in the village of the king of Nanda Maharaj, in the village of the king of Vraja, that is Nanda Maharaj, the prema is the king. Nobody else is king. Prema is ruling over everyone, and it sets up how people should behave. Actually, they should all go and embrace Krishna, but then the prema is stopping them from embracing Krishna because in the sattvika bhavas or the emotions that they were going through inside were manifesting as externally as paralysis, and then it just they were standing like statues. They couldn't move themselves. And in the past, somebody has said that, the two brothers, that Krishna and Balaram, they were like white, white light and dark clouds. Their effulgence was like white light and dark cloud. Actually, dark cloud and white light cannot be compared to Krishna and Balaram's effulgence. And their cloths, what kind of cloths they were wearing? Krishna was wearing golden cloth, and Balaram was wearing blue cloth. As Krishna's cloth was actually more dazzling than gold. Balaram's cloth was more dazzling than sapphire. And Krishna's face was looking more beautiful than the blue lotus. And Balaram's face was looking more beautiful than white lotus. And their eyes were restless, looking all the time here because there are so many people who are present there and they want to reciprocate with everyone. So it was very restless and it agitated, just like a Kanjana bird. There is a bird called Kanjana bird. In English, it is called wagtail. If you look it up in the YouTube, you would see that its tail always agitates, doesn't sit in one place. Like that, their eyes were moving here and there. They were not sitting in one place. They want to just welcome, they want to meet everyone. And when they were walking like a king of elephants. If you look at the elephants, their gait, very nicely they used to walk, like king. So they were also walking like that. So because they are possessing this much extensive beauty, it is no wonder all the people were paralyzed just looking at them. And so how the assembly is organized. The elder Gurujanas, who are guru to, who act like guru to Krishna, they were standing on the right side of the assembly. There were like a lot of assembly members were there. On the right side, all these elder Gurujanas were standing. And within them also, they have this order. The younger ones were standing behind. The older ones were standing in the front, like that. And then there was also the priests. The priests are called Purohitas. Purohitas, they were holding this argya, a water for puja basically. This argya they were holding and they were standing in front of all these elders. So Jiva Goswami says they were proving the meaning of the etymological meaning of the word Purohita. Puro means in the front. Hita means standing. So those who stand in the front are called Purohitas. So these Purohitas were proving the meaning of their name. They were standing in front of everyone. Or there is another meaning, which Puro means from the very beginning. Purana, very early. Hita means beneficial, well-wisher. So they were well-wishers from the beginning. Therefore, as acting as well-wishers, these Purohitas or the priests, they were all standing there. So at the time, Nanda Maharaj brothers also were standing on the other side. So, along with Nanda Maharaj, his brothers Upananda, Abhinanda, Sananda, Nandana, all of them were brothers of Nanda Maharaj. They were also standing and they were filled with blissful nectarian prema for Krishna. And all of them had this Vatsalya Rasa toward Krishna. They were all looking at Krishna as if their own son. And then along with them, there were many other relatives who were blood relatives. So they were blood relatives of Krishna, and they were, because of their relativeness, they were relating them to Krishna like, he's my uh, uh, father's brother's son, or he's my aunt's son, like that. Through that relationship, they were very much attached to Krishna. So all of them were standing there, waiting to meet Krishna. So this was on the right side. Then on the left side, all the small younger ones, they were standing in that assembly. They were overcome by great love. They are younger ones, but their love was great. Young means small. Huh? They may look small, but their love was very much great. But even though their love was great, they were feeling again very small. Why? See, when the love goes higher and higher for Krishna, humility will also grow higher and higher. Humility is a part of this prema, love. As the love grows, as the bhakti grows for a person higher and higher, the humility will also grow. There is a humility called, there is a humility present in Sattoguna. That is different. Somebody who does not have any bhakti, he may have humility because of the Sattoguna. That doesn't indicate that he is a devotee. This humility is part of bhakti itself. We don't need to separately cultivate humility. We practice bhakti nicely with a proper attitude, then this humility will also grow part of that bhakti. Because bhakti itself produces that humility, and this is spiritual humility. The material humility is a little bit different. That is comes from sattva, that has nothing to do with spiritual quality. Sometimes in the beginning, when the devotees come, they may have material humility. So we should not confuse that those who are more humble, they are more elevated, because that may be material humility also. But as one advances in bhakti, natural humility will start coming in without any practice, external practice. So all these people, they were meeting with Krishna and Balaram in appropriate manner. Whatever is suitable, elders were blessing them, and youngers were like, having this dasya rasa toward Krishna and Balaram. They were appreciating them like that. And they were very much captivated. Their heart was captivated by Krishna and Balaram. And they were deeply immersed in the intoxication of the bliss that was going around everywhere, because Krishna and Balaram have suddenly appeared in that assembly. And because they were intoxicated, they were just completely stunned, and they were looking at Krishna's face without moving. They couldn't take off their eyes, completely bewildered and mesmerized in looking at Krishna's face. Then Nanda Maharaj, then he started speaking. He said, "Oh Krishna, today is your Janma Nakshatra. It's a very auspicious for all of us. Therefore, he says that you should not go to the forest. You should stay back in Vraja until noontime." So Krishna in the morning every day, he goes to the forest to herd the cows along with his friends. So today, because it was Janma Nakshatra, Nanda Maharaj started telling Krishna that please stay at home. Don't go to the forest today. Don't worry about the cows. They know that without Krishna going, the cows will be looking forward for Krishna. They may feel longing. So therefore, Nanda Maharaj is saying, I have already arranged capable people to take care of the cows. So don't worry about the cows. You don't need to manage. I have taken care of it already. You just be present here and give your audience to all of us. We just want to take a look at you and be present in your association. So in this way, Nanda Maharaj spoke. It's already 5:46. We'll stop here. We'll continue our Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. To recap, so we were looking at the meaning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in our session. Then glories of Parakya Bhava was mentioned, and Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This riddle was solved. Then Krishna, he was displaying all the rasas in the arena of Kamsa. That was mentioned. Then how a Jiva attains a particular rasa. We looked at that as well. Then we started looking into the descriptions of the primary rasas. So we looked at Shanta Rasa, we looked at Dasya Rasa, we looked at Sakya Rasa, we looked at Vatsalya Rasa, and we started looking into Madhurya Rasa. So again, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is divided into um, four sections. We are looking into the eastern section. It talks about the overview of Bhakti. Rest of the sections talk about Rasa primarily. Okay, so double clicking on that. Within eastern section, we have four chapters which talks about Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. So we are looking into the first chapter, double clicking on that. And within the first chapter, the main topics are Mangalacharan, and then what is pure devotional service and what are all the characteristics of pure devotional service. Now we are looking into the Mangalacharan portion of it. These are the 12 rasas that we were looking into. Now we are looking into Madhurya Rasa. We started already in the last session. So we saw that there were three types of love in the Madhurya Rasa. One is the love of Kubja, where the prominent mood was to satisfy oneself rather than satisfy Krishna. That is Kubja's love. Then we saw that queens of Dwaraka, they were like predominantly their mood was to please Krishna in Madhurya Rasa. They all of them having a lover form that they are the beloved of Krishna. But in the Queens of Dwaraka case, they want to please Krishna predominantly, but still there is some part for enjoyment is also present. Okay, there's a lot of noise. Let's mute. Okay. Then we saw the gopis of Vrindavan. There is not even a tinge of selfishness was there. Huh? It's completely their mood is to please Krishna. They were also in the mood of beloved. So we saw that Madhurya Rasa, the people who are in the Madhurya Rasa, they were categorized into city people and village people. The city people are Mathura and Dwaraka, and the village people are Vraja. So within city, we have Swakiya and Parakiya. Swakiya is they have the mood of married toward Krishna. They feel they are the Patni Bhav was there, that they are the wives of Krishna. And the examples are queens of Dwaraka. And Parakiya is Kubja, she was not married to Krishna. And this Parakiya Bhava is very less common in the city. Mostly it is Swakiya because Krishna was already, he has attained the age of marriage. In Vraja, mostly it is Parakiya because he has not attained the age of marriage in Vraja. There is also the case of Swakiya, as we saw last time, the unmarried gopis who worshipped Katyayini. They were having a Swakiya relationship in the Gandharva marriage. And Parakiya, all the gopis in Vraja are, including unmarried and married to others, are all in Parakiya Bhav. Yeah, so is Kubja the only example Shastras have of Parakiya in Dwaraka? Yeah, so I have only seen Kubja alone for Parakiya in Mathura, Dwaraka. Okay, so here now we are a little bit diving deeper into the case of the Parakiya in Vraja. We are double clicking on this one. Okay. The rest of the things are not explained much more detail. We are going into this Parakiya and Vraja. So there are billions of gopis, unlimited number of gopis are in present in Vraja who have Madhurya Bhava toward Krishna. So all these gopis are divided into multiple groups. Each group has one leader for a group, and the rest of the members are just followers in a group. And there are hundreds and hundreds of groups, not just two groups. There are hundreds and hundreds of groups of gopis are available, and each group had hundreds of thousands of gopis. And generally we see that Radha in Mayapur or other places, we see only 8 gopis are present, but they are like the prominent ones. But there are hundreds of thousands of gopis are there in a group. So hundreds and hundreds of groups are there. Then within each group, there are hundreds of thousands of gopis are there. But every group will have only one leader. And among all these varieties of hundreds and hundreds of group in Vraja, 8 groups are special, where they have special love for Krishna. That starts with Radha, Chandravali, Bhadrika, Tara, Vichitra, Gopali, Dhanishta, and Palika. Among these 8 groups, 2 are the main groups. That is the group of Radha and the group of Chandravali. Radha is the group leader of Radha's group. Chandravali is the group leader of Chandravali's group. Radha has 2 associates, close associates. That is Lalita and Vishaka. And Chandravali has 2 close associates, Padma and Shaibya. So Lalita, Vishaka, Padma, and Shaibya, they themselves are, their prema is so much that they themselves are qualified to be a group leader. They can be a group leader and then they can have their own group. But they do not want to be independent leaders. They want to just be in the group of Radha and Chandravali. So, when you put all the gopis in a spectrum, there is like one end of the spectrum is called the Madhyata. The other end of the spectrum is called Twadiyata. Bujjala Nilamani, a different name is given. I have here put a Sanskrit name which is easier for to understand. The Madhyata group, what is their love? Their love is that they think that Krishna is mine. Madhyata. Krishna is mine. And the Twadiyata group, they think that I belong to Krishna. That's a complete. One is having high possessiveness. So Radha's group, they think that Krishna belongs to me. They have possessiveness of Krishna. And the Twadiyata, the Chandravali group, they think that I belong to Krishna. And they have more respect toward Krishna. Radha's group and Chandravali group both have possessiveness and respect, but the Radha's group, the possessiveness is prominent. Krishna is mine. And Chandravali's group, I belong to Krishna. Therefore, respect naturally arises for Krishna very much high. So, therefore, these groups are present. So why there should be groups? Why can't be there just only one group?
Okay.
Why? Second. So why my hand is raised? Okay, let me put down my hand. Anyways, I don't know how to put down the hand. Okay, leave it. So why there are multiple groups? Why can't be just only one group or two group? The reason is their love toward Krishna is taking different shade. So because Radha's mood is that Krishna belongs to mine, and Chandravali's mood is I belong to Krishna, therefore they cannot exist in the same group. They exist differently because their service and their attitude, mood, everything will completely change. And the rest of the groups are all somewhere in this spectrum. So you take this Radha's group to be on the left side of the spectrum. You take the Chandravali's group to be the right extreme of the spectrum. So we have got left extreme and the right extreme. The spectrum, all other groups are in between somewhere. Some are more close toward Radha's mood, some are more close toward Chandravali's mood. If they have exactly the same mood as Radha's mood, if any gopi has exactly same mood as Radha's mood, they will be in the Radha's group. But if it is little bit different and it is including some part of this Twadiyata, that I belong to Krishna, then they'll start coming into, moving away from Radha's group. Then they would form a separate group. So because they are situated in the spectrum in different places over the spectrum, so different groups are formed. Otherwise, we don't need to have a lot of groups. So in the Chandravali side, a lot of respect is there for Krishna. In Radha side, this possessiveness is there for Krishna. So in Ujjvala Nilamani, there was an example given how Chandravali's respect is very high. So one time, Krishna was standing next to Chandravali. So he put his left arm, she was standing on the right side of Chandravali. Okay. So you took Chandravali's left arm and put it over his shoulder out of love. And when he put it over his shoulder, Chandravali thought, oh my God, that is my left hand. How can my left hand, which is inauspicious, can be on the shoulder of Krishna? This is her respect of Krishna coming out. Okay. So she was withdrawing her left arm without agitating Krishna. And then she wanted to place her right arm on the shoulder of Krishna. So she has to move from his right side to the left side. Slowly she was moving. As she was moving, her feet was becoming bent. And then she was very careful that, okay, my feet should not touch Krishna because then it will become offense. Then I should just go around like that. She was slowly going around and going to the left side. So this much respect Chandravali was showing. Looking at all these actions from a distance, the Radha's group, along with Radha, they were all laughing. How Chandravali is behaving. That's so much respect, so much veneration was there. So the question is Radha's group the extreme of possessiveness? Yes, she is on the extreme of this spectrum, where this possessiveness is the high. No other group exceeds her possessiveness. Similarly, Chandravali is on the other extreme. Nobody exceeds her respect for Krishna within Madhurya Rasa, in Vraja, in Parakyamba. Okay. Then, if a particular group has more madhyata, that Krishna is mine, and they are in this spectrum, consider that Krishna is there in the center. This is the left end, this is the right end of the spectrum. So if they are more situated here in this spectrum somewhere, then they would become friends with Radha's group. If they are more on the other side toward Chandravali, closer to Chandravali, and their mood is filled up with Twadiyata, then they will become friends with Chandravali. They will not be friends with Radha's group, that group itself. Each group has a group leader. We are talking about the mood of the group leader. Whichever the group is closer to Radha, they will become friends to Radha. Whichever the group closer to Chandravali, they will become friends with Chandravali. Radha and Chandravali are the main competitors for Krishna's love. Radha thinks that Krishna can only be satisfied in the way I show love. Chandravali also thinks the same way, that Krishna can be satisfied only in the way I show love, not the other way. Because of that, they become the enemy groups. They become the main competitors in Krishna's love. Of course, we should note that when we say enemy group, when we say competition, these are all spiritual. There's nothing material in it. In the material world, competition gives a lot of anxiety to people. As soon as the manager comes in the office and then says you have to compete with the other team, or you have to compete with other members and you have to rise up, we get a lot of anxiety in the heart and we cannot get proper sleep. It is not like that. Here it is, everything is spiritual. The whole thing is to satisfy Krishna. They get bliss out of this competition. They don't get suffering out of this competition. This is all spiritual in nature. And they don't even have a tinge of material enmity within them. They are not controlled by three modes of material nature. So they are the main competitors. So whichever group becomes friendly to Radha, they become neutral toward Chandravali. And whichever group becomes friendly to Chandravali, they become neutral toward Radha, which means this group which is friendly to Chandravali, they don't help in Radha obtaining Krishna. Whereas the group which is friendly toward Radha, they help Radha to obtain Krishna. Although these groups are having this friendly and opposite nature toward each other, they form this wide variety. Although they form wide variety, when Krishna separates himself from all of them, then they all become one group in the sense of they all come together. So Krishna, when he went to Mathura, leaving all the Vrajavasis in prolonged separation, they all came together. They started crying. They were relating with each other. They will become together. There won't be this group separation, sort of in the sense that the love, my love is better than her love. That thing won't be there. But when Krishna is present, they will serve in this way. Krishna. So within a group, we have each group has one leader. So Radha's group, Radha is the leader, and the Chandravali group, Chandravali is the leader. Within the group, then the rest of the members are called Sakis to the group leader. The group leader is called Naika, the heroine, and the rest of the members in the group are Sakis. So all these Sakis help the group leader to achieve Krishna. So that is the goal. There are varieties of Sakis within a group. Some Sakis have more affection for Krishna than Radha. Some Sakis have more affection to Radha than Krishna. Some Sakis have equal affection, both Radha and Krishna. Even though some Sakis of Radha will have more affection to Krishna than Radha, they still will not give up that group and then go and individually associate with Krishna. They still are, they still love the group leader and they want to be under that group leader or Radha, but still they have more affection for Krishna. An example of the Sakis who are having equal affection for Radha and Krishna. This is the Ashta Sakis. We see that 8 Sakis, Lalita, Vishaka, and others, they have equal affection for Radha and Krishna. Usually, these Manjaris, they have more affection for Radha. Okay. So, the Sakis within a group, they look more or less like the group leader, their forms, age, and so on, more or less will look like that group leader alone. Okay, and within a group, again, there will be prominent Sakis, like we have in the group of Radha, we have the 8 prominent Sakis. Each of the prominent Saki will have their own followers as well. For example, Lalita has her own followers, like that will be there. But all of them are just engaged in service to unite Radha with Krishna or Chandravali with Krishna. Okay. So now coming back to this verse, now we have completed this Madhurya Rasa. This coming back to this verse, if you look at this verse, this says, Akila Rasamrita Murti, Prasarmara Ruchiruddha Taraka Pali. There's one more, I think. Yeah, anyways, okay. Prasarmara Ruchiruddha Taraka Pali, Kalita Shama Lalita Radha Preyan Vidhuru Jayati. So here, if you look at it, there are multiple gopis are mentioned. There is Taraka, there is Palika, and then there is Shama and Lalita. Finally, Radha is there. So where these gopis belong? Here we'll look at it in the next slide. One second. Okay. So we have placed Radha and Chandravali here. And then along with that, we have Taraka, Shama, Palika, and then Lalita. So Taraka is a Saki of Radha within the same group. See, Taraka is in the same group of Radha, but she is somewhat a distant Saki or less prominent Saki in the group. Therefore, you see that, she's like, the height from this line is a little bit low, somewhat distant. And we have Palika, here Palika. So Palika is friendly toward Chandravali. Taraka belong to the same group as Radha. Palika is friendly toward Chandravali, which means she is neutral toward Radha's group. She is not going to help Radha to join with Krishna. So all these gopis are mentioned in the first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. Then you have Shama. Shama, also called Shamala. So she is also a group leader. She is friendly toward Radha. Palika is also a group leader. She is friendly toward Chandravali. Shama is a group leader. She is friendly toward Radha. She has her own group. She has her own group. Taraka, however, is part of Radha's group. Then we have Lalita, a prominent Sakhi in the group of Radha, very close to Radha. So Lalita and Taraka, they will have this Madhyata, Krishna is mine mood. Even Shama will have more Madhyata compared to Chandravali's group. And Palika will have more Twadiyata, that I belong to Krishna. Chandravali will also have that mood, I belong to Krishna. Okay. So now the progression of the Madhurya Rasa. So we previously saw that Shanta Rasa goes from Bhava to Prema. And Prema is the condensed state of the love of Godhead. And at this state, once this rasa or love attains this state, Prema state, then it never changes. It's fixed up. Before that, there is a possibility of changing. Shantarasa, Madhurya Rasa can become Dasya Rasa or Santa Rasa if there is an offense committed. Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami will explain that in the third chapter. But once it reaches the stage of Prema, it never changes. It's fixed up. Dasya Rasa attains the stage of Prema, Sneha, and Raga. So Sneha, as we described previously, they will have they will not be able to stop relishing Krishna. They cannot take off their eyes from Krishna. They feel that they have not have enough association with Krishna. That is the stage of Sneha. And Raga is that they are ready to give up their lives for Krishna. In Dasya Rasa, most of them will not attain the state of Sneha and Raga. Only specific people will attain, like Parikshit Maharaj and others. In Sakya Rasa, we have one additional state, Pranaya. This Pranaya is the feeling of equality, that I am equal to Krishna. That will not be definitely there in Dasya Rasa. In Dasya Rasa, they feel they are inferior to Krishna. In Sakya Rasa, this feeling of equality, Pranaya, is present even before Prema, and then it gradually develops. So most of them will go to the state of Raga. They will ready to give up their life, Raga, Snega, like that. There is one exception. We see this Subala case. So Subala goes even beyond Raga. We'll look at that when we come to Madhurya Rasa. There's just one line, only one person. Then we have Vatsalya Rasa. Vatsalya Rasa mostly stays in the place of Raga. Their intensity is so much, they are always in the state of Raga. Yashoda, Nanda Mahārāja, and so on. Then we have Madhurya Rasa. So in Madhurya Rasa alone, you would see so many stages. Beyond Raga, there are two more stages, Anuraga and Mahabhava. Then between Snega and Raga, you also have this Man and Pranaya. All these things are there. So Snega, as we already looked at it, that when they look at Krishna, they will feel like their eyes are not satisfied with drinking the nectar of Krishna's lotus face. They cannot take off their eyes. They'll continue to keep looking at Krishna. So there was the example that Daruka, when he was looking at Krishna, tears were flowing out of his eyes, gushing out of his eyes. And he has become dull like a person. And then he was continuously, looking at Krishna. So he is not able to take out his eyes. Now Sneha is done. Then there's Man. So Man is when this Sneha becomes more excellent and it takes little bit Vamya nature. Vamya nature in the sense uncooperative. They're not cooperative. Like they get anger toward Krishna and then they go and sit. We have Man Mandir in Vrindavan, where Radha was sitting there in the Man Mandir. So cooperation will not be there. They will hide their intentions. Though they want to attain association with Krishna, they will hide their intention that they want to associate with Krishna. And in this way, this man will give a fresh sweetness. It is a little bit crooked. So many times the prema will be explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You would say that this love is crooked. That is, it is actually describing this man state because it's crooked. It's not straight. And pranaya also comes. You see, pranaya is there in Sakirasa. Here it comes at this stage. After man, when man becomes more and more, they will start exhibiting extreme intimacy. This then at that time, all the gopis they will think, or even the queens of Dwaraka, they will think that they are non-different from Krishna. That much closeness and the sameness will arise. So it is all in the same place because sometimes from man comes pranaya, sometimes from pranaya comes man. It's just like that. One comes from the other. Then you have raga. So one time one time Radha was walking on the slopes of the Govardhan. And then there were uneven, sharp-edged sunstones were there. The sunstones, when they get heated up when they are exposed to sun, they become extremely hot. They can, boil your feet. And Radha was walking on the sunstones when the sun was intense at noontime. But she was looking at Krishna continuously. Because she was looking at Krishna, she didn't even realize that these sunstones were actually piercing her leg like sharp knives. That's the feeling you will get. She wasn't even realizing anything. She was just gazing at Krishna because he was in the state of raga at that time. So she didn't even feel anything. She was just simply walking on the stones. Then this raga, when it matures very much, when it becomes very, very, very thick and condensed, takes on the nature of anuraga. Raga in the state that, any bodily pain, they'll not care and they are ready to even give up their life. And when it becomes extreme, that comes to the stage of anuraga. In anuraga, when they look at Krishna, they are feeling that Krishna is ever fresh. Every moment, Krishna is becoming more newer, like that. One example is given from Danakeli Kaumudi. In the Danakeli Kaumudi, Radha was speaking to Vrinda. So Radha says that, I have seen Krishna many times, but I have never seen such a sweetness as today. My eyes cannot drink even a drop of the beauty in one portion of one limb. We see that she's every day she's seeing Krishna, but then she's thinking that today's newness is completely new, and every moment it is just increasing. That sweetness is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also one time he was eating prasadam, and then he said, "This shark." He said, "This shark is definitely tasted by Krishna." Of course, the entire prasadam was tasted by Krishna, and daily he is eating prasadam, but still he felt that shark was very, very special. The shark he was eating, like that, the experience of looking at Krishna is newer and newer every moment. The love of Kubja will reach until the stage of prema. It doesn't go beyond that. Okay, so it stops here, love of Kubja. Even though it is part of Madhurya Rasa, it stops at this stage. The love of queens of Dwaraka, it stops at the stage of this Anuraga. It doesn't go beyond. And the love of the gopis in Vraja, it achieves another stage called Mahabhava. When Anuraga becomes extremely thick, it enters into the stage called Mahabhava. So, in this stage of Mahabhava, which is quite difficult to describe, this only happens in the Vraja. So, in the stage of Raga, they are ready to give up their life. The devotees are ready to give up their life. But more difficult than giving up their life is giving up this dharma, prestige in the society. Many times we see people commit suicide when there is a dark mark on their image has been created in the society. They want to give up their life. Why they want to give up their life? Because the prestige in the society is more than their own life. So in the state, this gopis, they don't care for this dharma of the society. And though they have very much attached, they were very much followers of dharma, but when they want to associate with Krishna in parakya bhav, they give up even this dharma. So in this stage, the love becomes extremely, it takes up a new shape, new wonder. And then varieties of sattvika bhavas manifest in their bodies. So sattvika bhavas, we said that like, tears, paralysis, stunning, all these different things that manifest in the person's body because of the extreme emotion the person is undergoing in relation to Krishna, that start manifesting extreme amount in the Mahabhava stage. Even from prema, all these things will manifest. They are called sattvic bhavas. But in Mahabhav, they will like the light has been brightened up to the fullest extent. That will happen in the Mahabhava stage. So in the Mahabhava stage, what are all the symptoms you will see? They cannot tolerate a moment of separation from Krishna. So when the gopis went to, along with the Vrajavasis, they went to see Krishna in Kurukshetra. So Krishna separated himself from the Vrajavasis by going to Mathura, and after that he didn't come back for a long time. At one point, all of them decided to meet together in Kurukshetra. So the Vrajavasis also came. That's the first time after a long separation they are meeting Krishna. So when the gopis were seeing Krishna after this long separation for the first time, they were cursing Brahma that he has created these stupid eyelids. Because when they were looking at Krishna, this eyelids was closing. When it closes, that there is a moment, for a moment time it closes. They cannot bear that separation from Krishna. It was such a long separation. They feel like a day of Brahma is passing. A day of Brahma is billions and billions and billions of years. They actually feel that when it closes. Therefore, they will start cursing all the things that are abstracting. So that happens in the stage of Mahabhava, not in the stage of Prema or anything. When their love is, has risen up to the stage of Mahabhava, this intolerance for a moment separation, that will happen. Then agitation of the heart of onlookers will happen. People who are standing nearby, when they look at the gopis who are in Mahabhava stage, they get very much agitated. So the kings and other queens, they were standing there in that Kurukshetra. When they were looking at this gopis' love for Krishna, their heart became so much disturbed. They got agitated internally. And it also happens that in Mahabhava stage, a kalpa or a day of Brahma, which is quite huge number of years, that becomes like a moment when there is union with Krishna. So in the Rasa dance, which happened between gopis and Krishna in Vrindavan, Krishna expanded that one night into entire day of Brahma. Outside the Rasa dance, everybody felt it was a simple night. But within the Rasa dance, everybody felt it was a huge amount of time, one day of Brahma. But even that one day of Brahma of, performing Rasa dance with Krishna felt like only one moment for them. Internally, they'll just now we started and then it ended. They'll have that feeling. That happens when they are in the Mahabhava stage. And they will, even though Krishna may be standing next to them, and he will be happy, they will be thinking that he is feeling pain. That bhav mood will come out. And suddenly, when Krishna disappears, and Krishna will appear within each of this gopi internally. When he appears internally, they'll forget the whole world and they will be completely absorbed within themselves. They won't even know who is standing next to them. They will forget everything else. There is no fainting happening. In the fainting, they'll forget everything else. But here, there is no fainting. But still, because Krishna has appeared from within, they're just so much focused within. This happens in the stage of Mahabhava. And within that Mahabhava, there are higher and higher stages. So Mahabhava, in general, all the gopis in Vrindavan, they reach Mahabhava. So within Mahabhava, there are higher stages. These higher stages are achieved by the gopis in the Radha's group alone. And even then, even further, the Mahabhava grows. And that is achieved only by Radha to the highest extent. Because Radha herself is the form of this Mahabhava. So from her only this Mahabhava comes. So therefore, there is a special state in Mahabhava which is only achieved by Radha. And there is a special state in Mahabhava which is only achieved by gopis in Radha's group. And in general, the Mahabhava, the little bit lesser Mahabhava, is all achieved by all the gopis in Vraja. Okay, so we'll stop here. Any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions?
I think I have only one concern, Rajiv.
Yes, Prabhuji. That was Pranam,
Why?
Prabhuji.
Why did you stop? But please do continue. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Radhakrishna Mataji. That was Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful explanations as always. I have a couple of questions, sir. It might be the first question might be a very silly question, but still I want to ask you. There are millions and billions of gopis, groups, leaders, and under them were millions and billions, right? So, how do actually each gopi gets a service opportunity with one Radha and Krishna? I mean, Radha Krishna also expands, so the Prakasha will be there for each group, or how do we understand?
So, the limitations of space and this consideration of a people, all these things happen in the material world. In the spiritual world, is dynamics is or the physical dynamics is completely different. Even though Krishna sits in the center of the party that happens in the forest with all the cowherds sitting around, and billions of cowherds are sitting around Krishna, and Krishna is sitting in the center. But all of them are sitting next to Krishna. They are thinking that Krishna is just sitting next to them, and they will have interaction, and they will be able to interact with all the gopas.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's one-on-one relationship.
One-on-one.
One-on-one. In this world, if we have guru who has like 10,000 plus disciples, it is very difficult for guru to interact with all the people. But in the spiritual world, it is not like that. He can just interact with everyone individually. The dynamics is different. And also this, if you look at the Vrindavan size itself like 8 kroshas or something like that, very small, 25 kilometers, square feet or whatever it is, square kilometer or whatever. But it can accommodate billions of people. Now, if you compare to the world population, its world population is 7 billion. But this small space will have billions and billions of people. So the science there is completely different. The science there is only to facilitate love interaction between the devotees and Krishna.
So this is same for even gopis also, right? Gopis and manjaris who serve Radha and Krishna, because it looks like every gopi gets manjari gets an opportunity to serve Radha's feet and everything. But I was really confused how one Radha can give service.
There will be personal interaction with not just Radha with Krishna, but even with the other gopis also.
Oh, okay. Very nice, Prabhu. And regarding, I have another question, like, regarding the progression of Madhurya Rasa, what you have explained until Mahabhava, I think I should listen one more time. And so when you actually upload to YouTube, please share with us. And I want to listen to one more time, and if I'll come up with questions. But you said about the two groups, Radha and Chandravali, and you were actually mentioning them in the Radha's group. Three categories are there, right? Who equally loves both of them, and who loves Krishna more, who loves Radhika more.
Yes, yeah.
But whatever the group they belong to, they just don't want to go with Krishna separately, and right?
Yeah.
This actually applies to even actually for Lalita Sakhi and all the Sakhis, Lalita Sakhi and Vishaka Sakhi, and to them, or it's only for Manjaris.
No,
Yeah,
no.
if you
So
don't want to go
they
deeper into it, it's okay. But I want to ask actually, because whatever I heard it in the scriptures, so Lalita Sakhi is they're allowed. They will go. So what you are saying is apply to only Manjaris or everyone? I'm little
yeah.
confused over there.
Yeah, yeah. So the direct union with Krishna mm, is mainly with the group leader and Krishna himself, but doesn't mean that others are prohibited from that. It is that Manjaris, the Manjaris will have the mood of, they want to serve the group leader because they have Adhika Sneha or more affection toward the group leader Radha. But doesn't mean that others, they also get a chance. Sometimes Radha herself sends some of the Sakis to Krishna. That all happens. Even she sometimes sends Manjari also like that. But the Manjaris, their mood is that they want to serve the group leader like that.
Right. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Rasheshwari Mataji, Dhanush Pranam.
Namaste, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Wonderful class, Prabhu.
Thank
I
you.
had one question. I'm sorry, it might be a little silly, but Radharani, you said when she was walking on those sunstones, I'm reminded that when Krishna walked on Govardhan, the stones would melt. And also when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked in the Jarikanda forest, the rocks melted. And so everything becomes conducive to their walking in Vrindavan. Why would there be some stones that are giving so much pain to Radharani?
I think this stone melting, the other things they happen in the stage of this Mahabhava, where the whole world, there is one state called Mohana, which is where the whole world gets affected by the presence of the devotee or Krishna. The, the animals will start weeping, and the other things will start melt, and those the stones can melt when they touch or whatever it is. It happens in the stage of specific state called Mohana in Mahabhava. But in generally, when they are walking, the spiritual world doesn't change like that, in the sense that the stones will immediately melt and then they will give space, or the trees will bend themselves and will give fruits to Krishna. That will actually disturb the nature of this humanness of Krishna's pastimes. Lokavattu lila kaivalyam, it is mentioned in Vedanta Sutra. The spiritual world pastimes imitate very much like the material world. So generally, we won't see contradictory nature, except for in the case of that is which is facilitating Krishna's pastime. For example, the Rasa Leela expanding and then the time amount is expanded throughout the day of Brahma, even though it was a night. That is to facilitate the interaction between Radha and Krishna and the gopis. But otherwise, this science usually try to remain as close as the material world. If it keeps on changing, that humanness will be broken. The state of maintaining that humanness. So mostly they will all maintain the state of humanness, except in this case of like Mahabhava or some extreme state when they reach, then weird things can happen.
Okay, so Radharani's states change, Raga and Mahabhava, like that?
Yeah, it goes up and up. From Prema, it goes all the way like that, and then it comes back like that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. That helped.
Thank you, Mataji. So there is question in the chat. Are there manjaris in every group? I suppose because this three types of gopis that are mentioned is in every group. That is, some will have adhika sneha or more affection toward Krishna. Some will have more affection toward the group leader. Some will have equal affection to both the group leader and Krishna. And this manjaris, they fall into the category of those who have more sneha toward the group leader or this Radha. So I suppose it is also present in other groups as well, though we don't get much details about the members of other groups. One or two here and there it's mentioned, but not much details are mentioned, so I don't know. in Mahaprabhu's line, for those disposed to Madhurya Rasa, are they destined for Radha's group or versus like Chandravali, etc.? So this Gaudiya Sampradaya is more focused toward Radharani and in more specifically Manjari Bhava. But in general, it's not like others cannot exist. Even the Mahaprabhu's associates were all there were even Rama Bhaktas were also there. And we even see that the followers of Nityananda Prabhu, they were in Sakya Rasa, they were writing that. So, but predominantly you would see all the acharyas and their general tendency in writing everything is Madhurya Rasa, and within Madhurya Rasa, this specifically this Manjari Bhava. Anand Baldev Prabhu, yes Prabhuji, that was one.
Hare Krishna, Visajan Prabhu. Thank you so much for this beautiful narration. Can you go to that page where you mentioned about the Madhya and Tvadiya?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Madhya is where Madhya Bhav is where when the gopis and radhas are more possessive towards Krishna.
Yeah.
And Twadiyata is where gopis are. They think that I belong to Krishna. Krishna belongs to me.
Yeah, here I belong to Krishna.
I belong to Krishna.
I am a property of Krishna. Here.
Property of Krishna. Yes.
Here is Krishna is my property, like that.
All right. So in scriptures, when we read, so most of the time we see that there is a more narration of Madhyata Bhav than Twadiyata Bhav, right?
So here we see, even in the case of, like, for example, Dasya Rasa, the Twadiyata Bhava will be there. That I belong to Krishna. I'm a property of Krishna. I've been sold to Krishna, like that. Having said that, this Madhyata, Twadiyata is there in all rasas as well, in the sense that in Prema stage itself, we see this stage. Okay, next. There's the Prema stage. In the Prema stage, this possessiveness of Krishna will be present in all the rasas. Krishna belongs to mine. But in Madhurya Rasa, it will take on extreme nature, that possessiveness, Krishna. And then that increases further and further. It explicitly gets manifest in the case of the Radha's group. And in Chandravali's group, the Twadiyata becomes explicitly manifest. And because of that, respect will be very much high for Krishna.
Okay. But
although in all the rasas it's manifest, but it is like at times a very huge state. Like, we consider like electric bulbs. One is a small bulb. In all the rasas will be small bulb, but one will be like extreme huge bulb or sun-like, light will be there in the Radha's group, like that.
But for Krishna, there is no more favoritism toward Madhyata or Twadiyata. For him, both are equal.
Both are equal. However, Krishna likes Radha more to a great extent compared to Chandravali. Actually, Chandravali is nothing but a extension of Kaya Vyuha of Radha only. Radha only expands herself as Chandravali for creating this whole thing. But it is a little bit, qualities are a little bit less manifested there, and then it is manifested in a different way. So Chandravali becomes like that. So because Radha is the fullest manifestation of Hladini Shakti, and the essence of that Hladini Shakti, then Krishna naturally gets attracted toward Radha. And this Hladini Shakti is present in all the devotees in the stage of Prema. All the devotees, small amount. Therefore, Krishna gets attracted there as well. And because it is the very form of Radha, he gets attracted toward her the fullest extent.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, thank you, devotees, for joining today. And a special thanks to Shivas Pandit Prabhu, Shankarananda Prabhu, and Sundarananda Prabhu for joining. And
Thank you very much, Jivan Prabhu.
thank you, Prabhuji. There is one
Thank
last.
you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
There is one last question here, which is there names above Mahabhava? So Mahabhava is the highest stage. Within Mahabhava, there are subdivisions are there. That subdivisions only we talked about, but Mahabhava is the highest limit. There's nothing beyond Mahabhava. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kripa
Vachakalpadurvasya.
Vitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namaha.
Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.